Why didn't you move on to the next thing? Why did you keep going back for more pain?
Everyone's different, right? So some people thrive in chaos, right? They literally thrive in chaos. It brings the best out of them. It gets them up in the morning.
How do you find the right lane for your personal focus?
Are you the Mark Zuckerberg? Are you the Elon Musk type? Are you the Oprah Winfrey type, right? And that helps you distinguish, okay, now that you've distinguished this type, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses?
ScoreCard Marketing. What is it and why does my business need it?
If you can't measure something, you can't show people where they are now.
All right, boys and girls, we're here with Maxwell Nee, the man, the myth, the legend, the chief revenue officer over at ScoreApp.com, which is a quiz marketing platform with over 6,000 paying clients. Maxwell he's just done so many things. As I was preparing for this session, I'm looking through LinkedIn, I'm looking through all the things he's been doing in Singapore and the farming and the Australian projects. And, we're talking before, he's like, oh yeah, I also an agency and I'm also an angel investor. And I'm like, Maxwell, we've got 30 minutes. How are we going to cover all this, brother? How are we going to handle this? So anyway, I'm excited to talk to Maxwell about client acquisition, lead generation, and turning people that might not know about you or might have vaguely know about you, turning them to cash money, paying customers, clients in the door, and improving your company's valuation. So Maxwell, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark. Love it.
Yeah, let's go. So I got to start. I was looking through your LinkedIn profile, and you've got a really interesting way of putting your resume on LinkedIn. Most people say, I worked at State Farm. I worked at Allstate. I worked at Progressive. I don't know why I'm talking about insurance so much, but that's what's on my mind. But you mentioned you gave like a little learning lesson that you had, and your first job you have listed here says you were a customer service representative for area support. You were rejected 56 times before you got the job. Maxwell, why? What the hell? Why didn't you move on to the next thing? Why did you keep going back for more pain?
Because I'm just one of those obsessive guys, right? And I set my eye on a goal, and it almost makes it more fun chasing after it. The harder it is to get, so that's why it's a addiction.
What was the feeling after you got the yes, you're hired?
It was a little bit sad, to be honest, because I genuinely enjoy the climb, and I enjoy the climb so much that when I get to the top of the mountain, I'm like, oh, the climb's over. So I'm a little bit weird like that, but that's the truth.
Well, that's probably why you're involved with so many projects, right? And quite frankly, this has been something that's been a challenge for me. I was a lifetime employee. It wasn't only until about 3 years ago where I went from employee to full-time employer. And one of the challenges that I've had, Max, is this shiny object syndrome. There's so many cool ideas, so many cool innovations out there. I'm just kind of curious, what's your idea on that, Max? Do you think it's better to stay really laser focused on one project at a time? Is it better to kind of spread and then try to find the right lane? How do you find the right lane for your personal focus?
That's a really, really good question. I've had to learn this the easy and hard way, sometimes both at the same time. So look, what I truly believe after observing myself and observing other people and people that are close friends, people that are not close friends, people I get along with, people I don't get along with, is that everyone's different, right? So some people thrive in chaos, right? They literally thrive in chaos. It brings the best out of them. It gets them up in the morning. They're the people that want to become firemen and firewomen, right? Like they literally thrive in chaos. It energizes their batteries. And there's some people that crumble in chaos, but they thrive in discipline and order and, acting like a Swiss watch, like tick, 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 like they're just so precise. So I think what it comes down to is, you got to be really, really honest with yourself. Sometimes, I know definitely for me, when I was younger, you read about the Snapchat billionaire founder that was 27 at the time, in Forbes, and you're like, why can't I do that? Or you read about, the Steve Jobs, or you read about the Richard Branson or the Mark Cuban or whatever. But those people, if you look at them a little bit closer, they all did it in their own very, very unique type of way, right? So, Mark Cuban's done a lot of deals. He's probably more of a deal maker. but Steve Jobs was a super focus, right, type of entrepreneur. So it's just about which one scratches your itch, your entrepreneurial itch, and how you can get the best out of yourself.
Totally agree with that. The part of the problem, I think, with entrepreneurs is just getting that shiny object syndrome, seeing all these different projects out there. But one of the problems that I've had, Max, is the less clear I am as to where I'm going, the less people understand about what I'm doing. And I'll give you an example of this. About 6 months ago, I just said, I'm just only going to talk about AI on my YouTube channel. And it was good. It picked up a lot of subscribers. And everyone started thinking of me as the AI guy. People are messaging me. The problem, Max, is that I kept getting on phone calls for people asking me all these AI questions and custom AI questions for their businesses. And I was like, this isn't really what I do, right? I'm helping people build their leads, high quality leads with YouTube and with podcasts and with email marketing. But all I'm doing is taking calls on AI. And I'm not perfect. I'm getting there, people. All right. So don't judge me. Don't flame me in the comments here. But I've started to realize that I need to really kind of pinpoint that down. And the more focused I am, the easier it's going to be for people to refer me business. I'll give you another example. One of the clients I just landed, he is the foremost expert in HubSpot, not high level, not ClickFunnels, not Salesforce, HubSpot. That's what he does. Sales and marketing for HubSpot. And so when I was working with a client who was using HubSpot and I needed help and he needed help, who did I think? I thought about the HubSpot guy. And so do you find that maybe is a leak in your strategy? Is that a leak in the entrepreneurial journey, is trying to do too many things at once? Because that not just the missed personal vision, but the clarity amongst the people that can refer you and bring you business.
Yeah, I think what we're talking about is your brand, right? If your brand is wishy-washy or it's unclear, the people won't know how to refer you business. So you're right. But let me put it to you this way. So there's Steve Jobs on one end, which is ultra focused and does one thing, obsesses about a product for 3 years until it's perfect, right? iPhone, iPad, iPod. Then you have the other end of the spectrum where you might have a deal maker where it might look like they're doing a lot of things, but they're actually just doing a really, really small thing in 10 businesses, right? So a deal maker might be, deal making isn't very clear for most people, but so think of like Ryan Serhart, right? Ryan Serhart sells 50 houses at the same time, so that sounds like a lot of things because each house is a different project, different suburb, different numbers, different demographic, different target audience, right? But he only does one little critical piece of the pie at a very critical point across those 50 houses. And he's mastered that little 1 inch thick, lane. So obviously his personality suits it, and he's not like a Steve Jobs that would prefer to build a house, master the crap out of building this house, and then just focus on selling one house forever and just build 1 million of the same house. Ryan Serhart wants to sell 1 million different houses, right? But do that really critical, important part. So, neither one is wrong. But what you've got to do is you've got to find your lane. So I do believe that your lane should only be about 1 inch wide, right? Which is, do you just help in the sales part, the lead gen part, the strategy part, and you might want to help with that across 5 different industries. You might only focus on one industry, but as long as that lane is 1 inch wide, then I believe that's clear enough.
Okay, that actually really hits home. And then I guess the other piece of this puzzle is making sure you're teaming up and partnering with the right people. So your inch wide is magnified 10x because of the skills and the expertise of the other people that have their own 1 inch wide lane, right? Am I hearing you right about playing that key role in the organizational structure?
Yeah, I think now we're talking about networking, right? So like, how can you, really master adding value like no one else on the planet in your inch wide lane? And, connectivity, network, I run a few WhatsApp discussion groups, and I don't charge anything for them. I also don't make any money from them, but they also don't cost me anything. but they keep me super connected to anyone that might need that inch wide lane value add that I can have, right? So that's my being plugged into the matrix type of thing. So I really recommend that, organizing discussion groups, bringing people together, and becoming the gatekeeper for that inch wide lane topic.
It hits home. I'm halfway through. 10x is easier than 2x, and that's kind of that key thing. It's how can we be the best in the world? Yeah,
I love that book. Yeah.
Really good, really good. And by the way, just a quick little marketing hack out here, something that's been working well for me. In my long-term drip campaign, my long-term nurture drip campaign, email campaign for people that don't speak marketing, the second email that goes out is a referral form, and basically it says, hey, I want to refer you business. Please fill out this form so I can know more about you. So when opportunities present themselves, I can refer you business. I've referred roofers. And I'm telling you, I'd have to look at the data today, but it's about a 67% open rate on the email. And it's about a 50% click-through rate. So it's ridiculous. And now, anytime I need a roofer in Ohio, I just put that filter into my CRM, boom. And so that's opened up some unique opportunities and some additional streams of income. So feel free to steal that. Do as you will.
I will. How big is your email list?
This email list is about 2,000 people. There's about 2,000 people on this list. So, about 2,000 people. I have other email lists, but that's something. And by the way, y'all, when it comes to email lists, don't just go out and buy an email list, upload it into your CRM, and start spamming people. There's good ways to do cold email.
Yeah. In most countries outside of America, that's actually illegal. So it's it's illegal for a reason, right? People don't like it. They don't respond well to it. So you got to get a bit more savvy.
Yeah. Well, outside of that, you can burn your domain. I cannot tell you how many people that I know that I'm personally friends with that I can't get their emails because they're all going to spam and promotional. So sending emails to people that don't want them and you're not actually providing quote unquote value is an easy way to end up in spam. Right.
Yeah.
So, all right, look, I do want to dive into ScoreApp because essentially this ScoreCard Marketing is an interesting approach to marketing. We talked a little about cold email. We talked about WhatsApp groups. We talked about being clear on your brand, which is, I think, one of the most powerful things you can do, especially on YouTube, for example. That's something I'm really focused on with clients. ScoreCard Marketing, what is it and why does my business need it?
Great question. So ScoreCard Marketing is... it solves the problem of getting high quality leads and warming up and generating high quality leads out of, your audience or a cold audience, right? So if you think about what's a lead is someone who's put their hand up and said, hey, Mark, I'm potentially interested to buy what you have to offer. Here's my details. Feel free to contact me anytime or send me more information, right? So that's a lead. Someone who has opted in for more of you, more of what Mark has to offer. Now, for someone to be willing to do that, you need to give them something. If they're giving you their info, you need to give them something of value, right? So it's a win-win. It's a value exchange. And quiz funnels have an extremely high value exchange. So the way it works is they'll land on a landing page, a beautiful page. They'll answer maybe 8 questions, 10 questions, 20, 40 questions. And on the back of those questions, the Score app that we're talking about, will calculate and use AI to spit out a personalized report for that particular person based on where they are now and where they want to go and why Mark is the best person to help them get there. So it's a two-way interaction that gives a personalized report to each and every audience member, audience person that does it. And because it's personalized, it's detailed, it's engaging, and it uses quizzes, and quizzes are psychologically enticing because they spark, curiosity, right? It's like, I want to know what my score is. So it's like self-identification, a little bit of vanity that scratches all the itches to help someone to press that action. And the end result is, a typical lead magnet tool that converts, cold traffic into an email or phone number or whatever. converts at about 10-15%. So our clients typically convert at 20 to 40% for their lead magnets. So they're building their email list twice, maybe even 3 times as fast, right? So that is ScoreApp and quiz marketing in a nutshell.
By the way, one of the reasons I think this is interesting, and again with that, let me refer you business form that I have people fill out. It relies on personal data that it's first party, because you're going to own that data. You own the information then as well, right? You're not scraping it off of Facebook or LinkedIn or something. You actually own the data there. And I don't know where AI is going. I don't think anyone does. But the more data we have on people, the better our AI is going to be, the more powerful our programming is going to be. So I would encourage anyone out there, if you're not already, find ways, for example, through a quiz, for example, get more specialized information on your prospects, on your clients, on your leads, on your network, because what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to use that data and those cells on, whether it's a CSV file, a spreadsheet in your CRM, you're going to be able to use that to train and program and give custom AI messaging, custom AI solutions. And I don't think enough people are talking about that yet. I kind of want to dive a little bit deeper into that, right? Because you mentioned that's kind of the tip of the iceberg of what you're doing here. Actually, let me back it up a little bit. So where are you finding the most success on these quizzes? So I assume you're running ads to the quiz, right? Where are you finding the most success with ads right now?
People are getting leads with their scorecards from $5 to $10, $15, right? Sometimes maybe even a little bit more. But we have, what's really impressive is the broad range of clients that we have using the platform. So we have over 6,000, almost 6,300 paying clients right now. And they're all ranges of, HR professionals, accountants, financial planners, coaches, consultants, service providers, authors, personal trainers, electrical engineering consultants, architects. They're all types of service providing professionals out there in the world. And some have small businesses, some have businesses with 4,000 employees. So it really, really is like a universal tool. It's not just like a super niche type of thing. It's just about, crafting your concept and your marketing campaign in a way that it's engaging for people to interact with. Now,
fair. And I guess you're running ads based on wherever your desired demographic, psychographic is, right?
Yeah.
How many questions are you putting on each page? One of the problems I found with like long forms is people's eyes glaze over and they're like, I'm not going to fill this out. How many questions do you like to put on each page of the quiz?
Just one. So it's one, and then it turns over. It turns to the next page, to the next page. So there's no distractions. It's just one, very thoughtful piece of engagement at a time.
What type of questions are your business owners putting on these? Are they asking for like pain points? Like what kind of questions are you seeing people ask?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. So if you ask someone, what do you want? That's not always clear, so typically less than half people have a detailed answer for that. But if you ask someone, what do you absolutely don't want? Almost double the amount of people can answer that question in a very thoughtful way. And then by just analyzing the negative, the opposite, then you know what they do want. Well, you're closer towards what they do want, right? So that's very interesting. And then another question, which is a bit like a life hack question, is if I had a magic wand to give you anything possible in your business, and in your sex life, in your personal training, in your fitness goals, in your work life, career, what would that be? And that helps people to sort of stretch the bounds of their imagination to something really, really unique and powerful.
That kind of reminds me of this book, Become Your Future Self Now, because connecting with your future self is not always easy. Like, to your point, there's an exercise in this book, It's by Ben Hardy. There's this exercise in the book where you write a letter from your future self to your current self to try to figure out who the heck you're going to even become. Who are you going to be? Because it's not always obvious. It's not always obvious, you know?
Yeah. But you know, so that's a really good point, right? So that answer and that exercise is particularly hard to do if you're in like scarcity and lack. You know, if your business hasn't brought in money or clients for 2, 3, 4 months, and you're thinking probably more negatively than positively, that's a really, really hard exercise to do. So that's when you know, asking someone who might be in scarcity or lack or negative headspace, hey, what are you absolutely sick of that you don't want anymore? They'll be like, bang, they'll have 8 to 10 things top of their mind, and then that'll help them to navigate towards what they do want.
Interesting. That's actually really interesting. So this person knows 10 things that they really don't want. They fill out the survey or fill out the questionnaire. Where does AI come in? How does the AI actually help craft? Because that's the reason they're filling out this quiz in the first place, right? Is at the end, you're going to get your own personalized custom game plan, right? So how does the AI play in?
So it plays in 2 ways. The first way is in the setup. So before, you know, November 2020, ChatGPT, OpenAI came out, it would take someone probably a day and a half to set up their scorecard and their quiz funnel, because it takes a bit of, you know, marketing finesse, right? To get these questions right, to type your hook, your landing page, your copy, write out what words you want to come out in the report. And now it can be done in 3 to 5 minutes. Bang. So we've set up AI to ask you some questions, and what happens is that it'll write about 6 or 7 hours of copywriting, concept writing, brainstorming for you, just like that. So we've funneled down the magic powers of AI to master this, you know, process. Then as part of this process, there's, you know, a little bit, not a lot, a little bit of AI calculation on the back end. So, you know, the scorecard, the quiz marketing magic, like the backbone of the magic is that if you can't improve something, if you can't measure something, you can't improve it, right? And if you can't measure something, you can't show people where they are now. Like, you know, you're just talking about in vague, fluffy, blue sky words. But if I said to you, hey Mark, you know, based on your fitness goals that you want to achieve by next summer, you're at about a 3 out of 10, right? Then you got a black and white, you know, measuring stick in front of you. Is like, okay, well, you know, am I ready to take the actions to get 10 out of 10 or not? Right. So the measurement, whether it's 1 out of 10 or a percentage or whatever have you, that's really important. And then there's a second type of grading, which is the buckets. So it's like, okay, there's 5 type of entrepreneur. Mark, which type of entrepreneur are you? Are you the Mark Zuckerberg? Are you the Elon Musk type? Are you the Oprah Winfrey type? Right. And that helps you distinguish, okay, now that you've distinguished this type, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? So that you can watch out for your weaknesses and, you know, supercharge your strengths.
Very cool. And if I'm hearing you correctly, or if I just want to kind of validate this a little bit, one of the things that was often done in the past in this type of strategy was like ABC questionnaires, right? Checklist, check boxes. The problem with the check boxes is they didn't, or the difference, I should say, the difference now that's happened is by using AI can interpret custom answers to questions. So it doesn't need to be a checkbox anymore. It can be a brain dump or the very specific line of thinking from that person's head. AI takes in all of that information, cross-references it with the mega prompts that you're putting in. I'm assuming you have a process either at ScoreApp or for the user of the app. You mega prompt it, and then whatever custom information is put in, you're going to get a custom response back. Where in the past, it's like, okay, you answered A here, B here, C here, stock answer. Well, now everything is going to be custom fit for that specific person, right?
Yeah, you know, you got Uncle AI writing your assignments for you for each.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, that is part of my podcast agency toolkit. So I have an entire CRM that's built out for podcast clients. And, one of the things I find with podcasts, new podcasters, it's hard to know what questions to ask. So in your case, either yourself or your agent that connected us, I apologize, I don't remember who it was. I get so many applications, answered a bunch of custom questions, on the calendar. In order to book, you have to answer questions, what line of business you in, what's your market cap, how many team members, just various questions like that. Website. Then it sends it in through into an AI app. I'm using high level here, so it's using Chat GPT-4, if I'm not mistaken. And it gives me a list of 15 different questions that I can ask you. So even if I've never asked a question before, I'll give you an example. Maxwell, can you explain what quiz marketing is and why it has become such a powerful tool for business today? Even if you've never hosted a podcast, even if you've never done an interview before, if you just read through these 5 to 10 questions, it's going to be gold.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It really is. It really is. So, all right, let's I want to continue down this funnel here because I only got you for a couple more minutes. By the way, y'all, you can get the entire ScoreCard marketing book for free. It's scoreapp.com/book. That's scoreapp.com/book. It's free. It's a book. Get hooked up. Maxwell's got you. Scoreapp.com/book. So we've gotten someone to fill out the questionnaire. They've gotten their custom response back. Great. How does that make me money? What happens next?
Yeah, so this is a lead generation tool, right? So it'll help you to weed out the most qualified people that you want to work with. So my business partner, founder of the company, describes it as like the Cinderella business model, where, if you think about the story of Cinderella, someone walked around with the perfect shoe and they wanted to find the perfect fit that ended up being Cinderella that would fit into this shoe, right? So that's what ScoreApp does. It helps you to find the clients that are the perfect fit, the Cinderella fit for your business. So that's what we do. We take an ocean of people, unqualified people, weed out and have the cream of the qualified people rise straight up to the top, so that you're only talking and spending time with people that are ready to move into buying something with you today.
Cool. Well, because that's obviously part of the problem. That your sales team, all you marketers out there know the sales team is ticked off at you because they keep getting on calls with people that don't have any money to actually buy the thing. So, well, and I guess that's part of the value too of having the person actually dedicate the time to answer 8 questions or so. Is they're kind of either saying I am qualified or they're saying I'm not qualified. Do you recommend having like a downsell too? So if someone maybe doesn't qualify for your premier offering, maybe they can get like the free or a paid ebook or paid training course.
Yeah, I think, getting pretty tactical here, but I love it. So I think if you're on the phone to someone and you offer them what you have to offer, and it might be, more than $1,000, $5,000, and they're not ready to go ahead today, that they just aren't in buying mode today, right? So, but they have gotten this far, and they're the right person to begin with. They know your price, they know your value. You've already interacted with them. So compared to a new person, they're going to trust you 10% more. So you want to put them into like a nurturing bucket, right? And that could be a WhatsApp group, could be an email list. I'm a big fan of groups because, on an email list, it's only one way, but in a group, and it's a bit of a double-edged sword, but in a group, you get social proof, right? So for example, if you got a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group and someone says, wow, just had an amazing call with Mark, he really blew me away, then 10 other prospects and potential clients are going to see that, and that's moved the needle, times 10x instead of just 1x.
I like that. Groups versus email list. Although I will say, people stop adding me to your WhatsApp list, guys. Just stop. I don't know if that happens to you.
There's some bad ones, there's ones where they pop up and then, seconds later, it's like, oh, this list's been removed from Meta.
It's crazy, dude. I'm part of a daddy-daughter camping troop, and they're like, Mark, why don't you ever respond to any of our WhatsApp messages? I'm like, guys, people keep adding me into these WhatsApp groups. I can't stop them. Help. Help me. Anyway, that's a problem for smarter minds than mine to, I guess, figure out. But this is a cool mousetrap. I like it. And just to repeat that data point, you said most ads that you've seen are getting at about a 10 to 15% response rate, but you're finding with the scorecard marketing, with the quizzes, you're getting about a 20 to 40% response rate.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick. That's pretty sick. I like it. All right, cool, y'all. You can go to scoreapp.com/book to get your free cheat sheet, your free guide. That's a book for free. I know you want to read because we love content, but what is it? Rich people read, poor people scroll. So don't scroll. Make sure you're reading people. Max, any final words? Where's the best place for us to find you?
Yeah. So to find me, I'm addicted to LinkedIn. So if you're ever on there, you want to get me, that's the best place to get me. If you want some free trial of everything that we're talking about today, just jump on the website, scoreapp.com, and we'd love to help you.
Good deal. Max, thanks for joining the show and walking us through scorecard marketing, how it's going to make us lots of money. I like it, brother.
Perfect. Love it. Thanks, Mark.